girl! Good lass!
A foggy, dark, rainy night, you ain't going to be flying a drone, whereas you would work a dog.
To Flash, the find that she just had on you is real. And that's what's important.
Good girl, show me!
At night and bad weather, we come into our own.
It's a lot of stress, you know, both myself and the navigator were pretty on tenterhooks waiting.
So my role isn't just as a dog handler, but I've also to preserve life for as long as it takes.
The Peak District is one of the most popular places in the UK to go for a walk, which means that their mountain rescue teams are some of the busiest in the country. There are also a number of search dogs spread amongst mountain rescue teams in the Peak District, so I've come along to meet the dog handlers to get to know how search dogs are trained. John Coombs has been working mountain rescue dogs for 25 years, and in that time he's trained 5. So what does mountain rescue do?
It enables climbers and walkers to help each other, and we do it in a difficult environment and where other people would have difficulty operating. We search and find and help people who are injured.
Dogs are used because they can search areas a lot quicker than humans can.
We've got 7 trained dogs and 6 trainees.
This is Maya and Jeffrey, and they're 2 trainee search dogs in the Peak District, training for a very important job. When they're fully graded, they could be on call nationally 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year.
Come here.
Daniel Sells is training his 3-year-old golden retriever Maya.
When we're going training, she knows that we're off. She gets really excited. She's at home, she's a completely quiet dog. She doesn't make any noise at all. When we're out training, she's almost always constantly barking, out of the excitement of knowing that there's a fun game to be had out there.
You gonna play away fine? Away fine. Good girl.
These dogs are trained to air scent, which means they're not tracking a specific human, but instead they're taught to pick up any human scent in the air.
We initially start off with the idea that the bodies, the volunteers, have her toy. So we do simple things, runaways. So we wave the dog's toy, the body takes it away, the dog then chases after the body, barks at them, and then gets the reward. You then increase that distance, and then you start sort of hiding the bodies away a little bit behind rocks, behind bushes, in dips, things like that. Once you've kind of got that idea, you then start thinking about introducing a return, so that the dog has to come and tell the handler about the find that they've made. So then they don't get the reward straight away from the body. They have to come, and usually the dog gets frustrated, comes back to the handler, barks at the handler out of frustration, and then leads them back to where they expect the toy to come from the body. Then the body produces the toy and the dog gets the reward.
A dog usually spends around 2 years in training before they take part in assessments. If they pass these, it means they're operational and can go on call-outs. But before they get to this stage, they have to practice finding bodies and letting their handler know where they are. I want to see what it's like to be found by a search dog, so I'm sent out with regular dog's body Sarah.
Basically, I go out in fields and forests and just wait for dogs to find me, and then when they get the handler to me, the handler passes me the toy and I reward them with the toy.
Oh, what a good lad! What have you found? Oh, what a good boy! What do you got? What do you got?
It's great fun. Love dogs. All the dogs are amazing, and the people are really great too. So yeah, it's a really good group of friends that I've made as well.
Hey, what a good boy! What a good boy! What a good boy!
At the next training session, it's my turn to have a go hiding by myself. An experienced dog handler John will be trying to find me with his operational dogs, Shola and Flash. But first, I need to find somewhere to hide. I've chosen my spot now. It's just a few hundred metres from where John is with the dogs, but it's quite sheltered, so hopefully they won't see me before they smell me. The wind's changing direction quite a lot, so it'll be quite a challenge for the dogs, but it'll be interesting to see how long they take to find me. I'm in position for a matter of minutes before Shola finds me and is running back to John to alert him. Dogs are taught to run between the body and their handler to lead them to the find, as well as barking to signal that there is somebody there. Once he gets to me, Shola is rewarded with a toy, which is what she's been looking for. Then, John's off to get Flash to try. Flash is an experienced search dog at 12 years old, and she also finds me pretty quickly, and the process of alerting John and being rewarded with a toy is repeated.
To Flash, the find that she just had on you is real, and that's what's important.
Good girl.
The ball's really important for the dog. It's their incentive to find. She knows that she can only have that ball for finding people, and that she's got to get me to them in order to get the toy. So the toy is really important, and we start all their training with a toy.
While talking, John gets a phone call about a search they may need to go on. This really shows the reality of what these volunteers are regularly training for, and having to be ready at a moment's notice is crucial. But what's it like to go on a real operational search?
Stressful. Probably one of the first operational searches I did, and we'd searched this area, and then the police would cordon it off the next morning, and there's a good few hours where you're thinking, was the person in the area where I was, and all that kind of stuff, and it's a lot of stress. Both myself and the navigator were pretty on tenterhooks, waiting for clarification. It wasn't, it wasn't in the area we searched, but it's a big responsibility, because you're going back and you're reporting to to the police to say, there's no one there, and you've got to be confident in what you're saying.
One key part of the dog's job is to make sure that there's nobody in the area that they're searching.
Most dogs only get 2 or 3 finds in their career, and you're actually sent out to be able to come back into the control and say there's nobody in this area, and that's a very hard thing to do. That's why most dog handlers have got grey hair, really. If nothing's found on a search, you always get worried that you've missed. It's part of the dog handler's burden, really.
This means that handlers have to have a lot of trust in their dog.
You only get that confidence by spending a lot of time training and being confident in the ability of that and that.
So that's why the training's so important then?
Oh, it's absolutely critical that we keep on top of our skills and drills and make sure that that whenever we're out, we know that the dog is on the top of their game, and whatever they're showing us, whatever they're trying to tell us, it is on point.
I'm leaving the Peak District for the time being to visit Ken Sloan in Lincolnshire. He's been in mountain rescue for 45 years and has been a dog handler for over 30 years.
Hi. You want to captain?
Yes. And you okay?
I am. As a dog handler, you're quite often out there by yourself and you might come across a casualty that I've got to keep alive for 1 to 2 hours before I have backup. So my role isn't just as a dog handler, because I'm usually the first on the scene, but I've also to preserve life for as long as it takes.
He's worked 4 search dogs but has helped train many more. Currently he has his retired dog Abby and he works his daughter's dog Robbie. Across his 45 years in mountain rescue, he's been on countless searches and had many finds.
With dogs, I've possibly had in the region of between 20 and 30. And not all good finds, but there's quite a few that don't turn out how we would like them to.
Ken has also been on a number of high-profile searches, including the Lockerbie air disaster, where he went as a team member, and the April Jones case in Wales, which he took his search dog to. In both of these cases, dogs played a huge role, and they were some of the largest gatherings of search dogs in the country.
All in all, everybody knows that they're there to do a job, and everybody wants to play their part. And that's the good thing, is that you're all there for the one thing, the person you're looking for, hoping for a good result.
Back in the peaks, and the weather can change quickly, which means teams have to be prepared to go out in all types of weather. This also means that they have to specialise their training so that they're used to these conditions.
What we do in winter is we train them to locate a body that's under the snow. It uses the same skills as they're training here today, but to find the buried person in the snow, and we get them to indicate by digging. So they dig on the body.
As well as this specialised avalanche training, most mountain rescue dog handlers will regularly train their dogs in the evening to get them used to working at night time. These are conditions that they often get called out in.
Dogs essentially will work in any environment. On a foggy, dark, rainy night, you ain't going to be flying a drone, whereas you would work a dog.
Good girl! Good lass!
This issue of using drones within mountain rescue is one that comes up frequently, especially as the technology involved improves. But does this mean that dogs still have a part to play?
In woodland, thick vegetation, bad weather, dogs can still operate as well as they can in daylight. So we complement the visual resources, people, drones and aircraft. So that that's dogs have a place, and we think they'll have a place into the future. And at night and bad weather, we come into our own, and that's what we have to train for.
Well done! Good girl! Good girl!
You can see the dog's just, she's so keen. We've got a jacket on. She can hear the other dogs working. The radios are going. This is her. She's in her prime, and all she wants to do is work.
Mountain rescue's there for climbers and walkers to help each other. The dogs are just a great part of it.
We're still waiting out for our first operational find, but the good work continues.
With the plan of trying to get her assessed in either November or January to get her on the call-out list.
How many finds a dog has isn't necessarily an indication of how good or bad they are, because of course they'll only find somebody if there's someone there to find.
We're so sort of reliant on the volunteer bodies like this morning that are sort of laying out in the cold and rain and the wet and the snow, because without them we wouldn't be able to train these dogs.